Aloha and welcome to a very special edition of the Maui News Sports Report, a state championship edition of the Maui News Sports Report. So butter my bread and call it toast. Let's get going. Jordan Helly, TV guy, Rob Colias, newspaper guy, and we were there last night. It was an epic night at Maihara Stadium. Rain canceled the third place game. The Baldwin Bears come into the house late. Certainly they were warming up in their area up on the school campus, just a baseball throw away. And Jordan, they come up with a state championship, and just really an amazing thing. And here's what the Sunday morning sports section looks like. The Bears wear the baseball crown. John Viella goes out a champion with really the third gem of a triple crown of state championships: player, assistant coach, and leaves as a head coach, state champion. La'akea Kaho'o Hanohano Davis just adds to his legacy. State records in the triple jump, long jump, both of those, from what I can tell, are ranked number one in the nation right now. And then Sarah Ikioka and Kylie Kato go out champions in girls tennis doubles for Kamehameha Schools Maui. Jordan, what a spring it was for the MIL.
Yeah, it really was. And last night, we're maybe a couple of injuries for the Baldwin track team away from celebrating 3 state titles when you think about the Bears baseball squad, the track squad for the Baldwin boys, and of course the doubles team out of Kamehameha Maui winning their first state championship as a dual on the tennis courts. And it all started obviously last night at Maihara, the fact that it was here on Maui. The crowd was terrific even after the rainstorm that sort of started off that game. We were hell-bent sort of on starting it on time just to make sure, because of the TV ramifications, because of the flight ramifications with getting everybody back to Oahu that was here. So we started the game. It was a driving rainstorm. Of course, it had let up, and then it started raining about 2 minutes before first pitch. That game started in pretty poor visibility, in pretty substantial downpour, and Haloa Dudua, I thought, set the tone double on about the first or second pitch of the game, roped it out into right center, got Bears on the right foot. They got a single run in that first inning, maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity for them with the bases loaded, but still, they got the run on the board. They put the pressure on Pearl City, and really Baldwin never had to play from behind, never had to play from really tied at any point in that ball game, and I thought that was huge. And how about the freshman, Kaipo Ha'ole, who, by the way, earlier this spring was pitching pony baseball at Kaului School Field. He just goes out, wins the state championship in his first start of the year, basically. A guy who had less than 10 innings pitched in the entire season coming in. And it was just, everything came together for Baldwin over the course of the last 3 days. And for them to win it, for that group of seniors, and of course for John Viella in his final game at the helm of that program, it was special, with Mother Nature, with the crowd, with the fact that it was on Maui the way they won it the last couple of nights. It was special for that group.
No doubt about it, Jordan. The heroes were everywhere. You mentioned Kaipo Ha'ole. I think he came in with 9 innings pitched on the season over 2 games. The guy that finished the deal, Nigel Mayfield, a junior, had pitched 5 innings over 3 games. He gets the 3 inning saves, hitless, scoreless baseball, and then to see the emotion of John Viella after the game. You saw it up close and personal on TV, and John is a very stoic guy, and he was very emotional. Quote of the year to me last night, he said, "Baseball has been very good to me," and he's not joking about that. It was just crazy, electric atmosphere. The Bears did it. Obviously, they got to that final. They scratched out those runs against a really good Pearl City team. And Jordan, you mentioned that Pearl City run, really a remarkable run to the final, started against Maui High.
Yeah, you think about it. They played 17 innings combined against both MIL teams. They scored 2 runs, and I think that's a testament to the pitching that we saw that Maui High got, obviously losing that heartbreaker 1-0 to Pearl City on the opening round day on Wednesday. Baldwin holds them to 1 run over 7 innings in the championship game, and we point that out because Pearl City is a really good team. They lost once in OIA play, went undefeated in the OIA West. The OIA West, which by the way put 3 teams into the state semifinals and 1 into the D2 state final over on the Big Island in Kapolei, who ended up losing to Kamehameha, Hawaii. So what the MIL was able to do against Pearl City is pretty darn remarkable. That's a really good team that Coach Gavin Concepcion brought over, and you got to tip your cap to the Chargers. But Baldwin, man, it was special all the way around. I think added to it the fact that they got to play in front of their home fans over at Maihara Stadium. And you're right, the two guys who I know and you know, and we've got to know pretty darn well over the years. And head coach at Baldwin, who is now obviously running that sports athletic program in Kahai Shishido. The smile on his face after the win against Campbell on Friday and after winning the championship on Saturday, I don't know if I've ever seen him show that type of emotion, and it was sort of nice to see Coach Shishido go out that way. And of course, with Coach Viela, another guy, they're sort of the same mold, right? But those two guys, understandably so, the emotion could not be contained, and for a lot of Bears fans, and you could see the jubilation when that final out came, and the fact that they were able to win it, sort of reminiscent of 2000 when Molokai was able to win a state title on, MIL home soil, if you will. It was a special night all the way around.
No doubt about it. The Baldwin Bears won 5 state titles, the first 2 in 1959, 1960. John Viela walks in the door in the fall of 1983 as a freshman, 9 months later, is a key part of their 1984 state title. Kahai Shishido, as you mentioned, lead, and Jamie Alloy and Chaz Sato, very reminiscent of the pitching last night, comes back from getting blown out in his first start, pitches the state title game, pitches the Bears to a win in that game in 1995. Kahai Shishido, maybe the only other time I've ever seen him really, really smile was that night. And then John Viela finishes off that Triple Crown player, assistant coach, state titles last night. It's really hard to do. And, you think, like you said on Pearl City, you think what might have been for them if they win that OIA title and have to play just 3 nights, 28 innings it took them to get to the state final. And as you said, you can't say enough about them. But the Baldwin Bears are the state champs. And what could have been in track and field, Jordan, we mentioned him at the opener, but La'akea Kaho'o Hanohano Davis, 49-10 and change in the triple jump, 24-10 in the long jump at state, 4 MIL meet records, 2 state meet records. He just missed the state high jump record of 6'10", which he did at MILs. Long jump, triple jump, those marks are number 1 in the nation, as we mentioned. And, man, this kid just left with a bang. Unbelievable.
Yeah, La'ako Hanohano Davis, just athleticism few of us can even fathom of having. And he went out in fashion. The guy who's battled injuries really throughout his career, both on the football field and during the track season. And when he was finally healthy, which he was here down the stretch of his senior year, we saw what he is capable of. And a guy who has a few sort of options going forward, right, whether on the football field, at the collegiate level, or on the track. He's a guy who did just about everything for that Bears team, trying to carry them as some other guys went down to injury over the course of that meet. And maybe the only reason Baldwin didn't win their third state title here in the last 4 or 5 years, which is amazing that this program has been elevated to that height. And they're a perennial state title contender, and a lot of talent coming back as well. But for Cole Hanohano Davis, I mean, he even talked to some of the Oahu folks who hadn't seen him before. I mean, he just awed everybody. And even though the Bears didn't win the state team title, I think La'a definitely was the most impressive individual performer yesterday at the state track meet. Just an unbelievable career, and, wish him the best going forward, and what should be a pretty bright future for that young man.
Broke the state triple jump mark that was 30 years old, Larry Conn Smith, by nearly 2 feet. Broke the state long jump record by nearly a foot. It's remarkable. Again, those 2 marks, number 1 in the land right now. And if he's not a football player, which is what he wants to do, man, oh man, some track coach is going to be very, very happy to get that young man. And Jordan, I think you know these 2 girls. I know them just from talking to them over the years. Sarah Ikioka and Kylie Kato, they finished 4th as freshmen, 3rd as sophomores, 2nd as juniors. State champs, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, unreal. They've sort of been some of the shining jewels of that athletic program up in Pukalani at Kamehameha Schools, Maui. And for them, you heard some of the rumblings that maybe they were going to split up, break the pair up, go in as individuals at the state tournament. I'm glad they stuck it out.
Keep the band together, man.
Yeah, it was, And I completely agree. And for them to sort of make that decision pay off, right? I mean, it's easy to say from the outside looking in, but for them to actually finish it off, and in dominant fashion, 6-2, 6-2 over a pair from Konawaina, doing it on the road, really, if you will, and just a gradual progression that sort of reaches that payoff. And I think for them to do it together a little more special even as well.
Oh, yeah, they're best of buds, as you might imagine. And, very, very special. Molokai baseball represented well in the D2 tournament in Hilo. Our boys volleyball teams, were each in the mix. Again, Lahaina Luna winning a match or two. And girls water polo as well, judo. It was just an unbelievable sprint. Oh, two Baldwin boys in the top 10, the Justins, Jan and Arcano, for state boys golf. The Maui High Sabres girls golf team finishes third. Jasmine Kabajar finishes fifth. It was just a remarkable spring season. And state softball coming up, D2 here, Molokai and Lanai, and a special story going on at Maui High.
Yeah, without a doubt. That we're not quite done yet.
Yeah.
We still got a week left. And right, you think of this past week, all that stuff you mentioned happened within 6 days last week, which was absolutely crazy. Molokai making it to the D2 volleyball boys final. The MIL has sort of been the perennial bridesmaid, if you will, but sort of getting to the final against HBA is almost like winning the title in itself, and the Farmers get back there and sort of get lost in the shuffle with all of this going on. But what Holly Domingo and that group was able to do to get into the state final, unbelievable for them. They follow Apana the year before. They follow up Seabury for a handful of years before. MIL D2 volleyball is as good as it gets outside of HBA in the state. And, of course, softball coming up this week. You mentioned D2 over at Maui High. I know that's going to be a lot of fun at Patsy Mink Field. And then Maui High, the Sabres, they're not going to be able to watch because they're going to be on Oahu at Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium. First MIL title for the Maui High Sabres. Mark Lauhi, what a job he has done with that program. First MIL title in over a dozen
2002.
years. Yeah, so 14 years to be exact. So a lot of fun for them. And Lahaina Luna, they're always perennially in there. And we'll see, maybe like the baseball tournament, softball could be wide open. We'll see how it is. And, hey, you get some pitching, and Maui High's got some pitching, as does Lahaina Luna. You can make a little run.
Taylor Osio is the veteran pitcher for the Lunas, and Sira Bartolotti. Remember that name. She's very, very special freshman pitcher for Maui High. That's it for this special edition, this state championship edition of the Maui News Sports Report. And Jordan and I will be back in the fall for football. And send us your bobbleheads.